just wondering if like somebody could someday create lyrics to that Oz Talk Open. I love that music. It's so Brady Bunchy. Do you agree? Welcome to Oz Talk. We are live on Facebook and YouTube, so feel free to leave comments, ask questions. And today we are going to be talking all about Wicked because it has been such a big week. What with all of the casting rumors confirmed and announced and the rest of it, we're going to go all over those details and tell you everything you need to know. Of course, we are brought to you by the Oz Club. Since the 1950s, the International Wizard of Oz Club has been bringing fans together. Head on over to ozclub.org to join. Today, we are also joined by special guest co-host, Oz enthusiast Donovan Hoffer from America's Got Talent. Check him out here from season 16.
Hello. How's it going?
How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, very nice to meet you. What's
Nice
your
to meet
name,
you too.
please?
Donovan.
So you're a one-word artist, like Madonna?
Sure.
Yeah, just Donovan.
Just Donovan.
Okay. So what's the dream, Donovan?
The dream is to be a Broadway performer.
Okay. No more questions. Just do it.
Thank you so much.
Think of me waking silent and resigned. Imagine me trying too hard to put you from my mind. Recall those days, look back on all those times. Think of the things we'll never do. There will never be a day when I won't think of you. Flowers fade, the fruits of summer fade. They have their season, so do we. But please promise me that sometimes you will think.
Dying. That is Donovan Hoffer on season 16 of America's Got Talent. He is a tenor, countertenor, actor, and dancer, and cosplay performer. He recently appeared in Pittsburgh CLO's production of Kinky Boots, has performed songs from Queen and Journey in concert, and other show highlights are Clopin in Hunchback of Notre Dame, Angel in Rent, and Mark in Altar Boys. Of course, after hearing him belt out a song like that, we gotta hear what he would do with a song like this.
So if you care to find me, look to the western sky. As someone told me lately, everyone deserves the chance to fly. And if I'm flying so low, at least I'm flying free. To those who surround me, take a message back for me. Tell them I am defying gravity. I'm flying high, defying gravity, and surround and trembling renown. And nobody in all of Oz, no wizard that there is or was, is ever gonna bring me down. Bring me
Wow. How can we? Welcome, Donovan Hoffer. Thank you so much for joining us. We've been trying to get you on the show for a while. That's amazing. Just first of all, before we get into all the wicked business, how do you do that with your voice?
I was cracking up watching that Defying Gravity. I filmed that right here in my room. So growing up, I always used to have this like soprano vocal. And so when I started to take vocal lessons, they actually had to like work down. They had to like find my mix, my chest, my full voice. So I started with the soprano and then kind of like worked myself down. It's so funny watching those videos back.
It's amazing. It's truly amazing. So you just naturally have that soprano voice.
Yeah. And it's my favorite place to sing. I just feel so like elegant and ethereal every time I sing in that soprano voice.
Yes. We're getting some great comments here. We're getting Tyler Knox saying, I am just so speechless. We've got Alan Schellenberg saying fantastic. We've got standing ovation from another friend here watching. Thank you all so much. Donovan's going to stick around. We're going to show some more clips of his performance and get to know him a little bit better in a bit. But first, we got to get to the news of the day, which is the Wicked casting. I mean, it's crazy. We got to start with, of course, knowing that it began with Cynthia Erivo, Ariana Grande. We're getting a little bit. They're so good on social media. If you're not following on Instagram, you should, because here we're getting a glimpse of, on days that they're filming, this might be what Elphaba's nails are going to look like. We see some green there on Cynthia's hand. We, of course, know what blonde looks like now on Ari. Jonathan Bailey was already previously announced as Fiyero, but here this week, Ethan Slater, SpongeBob, the Tony nominee from Broadway's SpongeBob, is going to be Bach. What do y'all think? Tori?
I saw John Chu retweet SpongeBob, and I just about lost my mind. Inspired casting. He is so talented, and his performance in SpongeBob, though overlooked by the Broadway elite community, I think was truly moving, inspiring, brilliant. And Bach is a nuanced character. He can be played as kind of a straight buffoon, but he is layered. There's a lot to him, especially if they're drawing more in from Gregory Maguire's novel. So I'm really glad that they picked somebody as talented as him to carry this role.
Definitely. What are your thoughts, Garrett?
It's funny when we were, what was it, like last summer before last, when we were doing like our dream casting, like Ethan Slater was nowhere in like the mix, I think, for any of us. But when the news broke, I went, of course it's Ethan Slater. Who else would it be? It's one of those like, oh, yeah, that is the obvious choice. Why did none of us hit on that?
Right. Exactly.
So I nailed Cynthia. I didn't grab onto Ethan, and I kicked myself.
You did. There's our Fiyero, Jonathan Bailey, of course, the gorgeous. He's my new Hollywood husband. I called it first, thoughts. He's mine. Hands off, Donovan. But Donovan, what are your thoughts on the casting for Bach?
When I saw SpongeBob on Broadway, I did not know anything about it, and he was just absolutely phenomenal. So I think it's a great pick. I can't wait to see what he does with the role.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. He's good. And then, of course, they confirmed Michelle Yeoh for Madame Morrible, who previously worked with director John Chu on Crazy Rich Asians. I mean, she has such an incredible career. If you look at the work she's done in the films she's been in, I think this is an amazing choice. I've never heard her sing. I'm sure she can. Not that Morrible has that much to sing in the stage show. She might get more in the film version. But Donovan, what did you think of this one?
So Madame Morrible is the title for me. She is the wicked one. So this was the casting choice for me. I was like, is it going to be Patti LuPone? Is it going to be Bernadette Peters? Is it going to be Jessica Lange? Is it going to be, who are they going to pick for this role? And I'm happy. I'm happy with the representation, and I think she's a slay. I can't wait. I hope they really give Madame Morrible more depth and more. I just need more from her. Like, I want like a whole HBO mini series based on Madame Morrible. I love her so much.
so much. Garrett, what do you think?
I'm excited. As we all know, my first choice would have forever and always been Carol Channing. But if we can't have Carol Channing, then Ms. Yo is just a brilliant choice. I think I first discovered because I hadn't seen other things from her with Star Trek Discovery, and the dual character she's had on that, I think she's going to be just absolute perfection because she can turn on a dime from that, oh, aren't I wonderful, to I am going to mess your stuff up right now. And I am so excited for her. Like, I literally squealed when I saw that standing in the middle of my work Christmas party and someone thought I had hurt myself. So I am super excited for her.
Definitely. Tori, thoughts there on our Madame Morrible?
Again, Madame Morrible, depending on who's playing her, can kind of be a boilerplate character. And I've seen some performers take that role and just kind of, it's a one-note situation. But when Carol Shelley did it originally, it was super layered, kind of like Bach can be. So I feel like, again, you really need somebody talented in that role. Otherwise, it can just be a one-note character. And they did it. I mean, honestly, I know a lot of people had reservations about John Chu, about those initial big names that they cast. But look at the amount of thought being put into who is carrying this film. I'm more and more optimistic the more we hear.
It's so true. Toto's very excited for the casting. She wanted to participate today in Oz Talk. Welcome. But I love Michelle Yeoh and everything she's done. And I think it's an out-of-the-box brilliant casting. She will bring the depth that we're talking about, and I think that we will see this character have an arc, and she can communicate so much. She's one of those actors who communicates so much beyond verbally. So it's going to be really cool to see her sink her teeth into something as wicked as this character can be. Also, finally confirmed Jeff Goldblum as the Wizard. We saw Revo saying hello, Daddy, online. Garrett's really excited about this. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I am very excited for Dino Daddy Wizard. Like, I am all over that one. I think he's, in general, I think he's like spot on casting because he can do that warm, confident, wonderful, but also not quite at the same time. Like, he's got more depth to him than I think most people think he actually does. And I think it's largely because he's kind of been memed to death a little bit. So I think it's going to be a good reminder of, oh no, Jeff Goldblum, actually really talented. I'm super excited.
Yeah, totally excited. And he's got a couple songs. You know, he has the Wonderful Song and Sentimental Man. And I think that he definitely can go to all of those places. And he just looks so good for it. And then just, you know, we've all seen the show. I think that we can suppose there's going to be a lot of things we don't know about the movie. The movie's going in new directions. But we do know that he turns out to be Elphaba's father. And so it's just so cool to kind of see some of the casting choices. And speaking of family here, who they chose to be Elphaba's sister, we've got Marissa Bode making her film debut. And it's huge that they, you know, we saw early on in the casting announcements, they were looking for an actor who is in a wheelchair. And so I love that the representation, that they went authentic here. It will be very interesting to see later in the show how they use special effects and other things. Donovan, what are your thoughts about Marissa?
I absolutely love that she is handicapped, that she's in a wheelchair. And I think that will make it so magical when she actually like stands up out of the chair. It'll be like, and it'll probably be an emotional experience for her as well, the actress. I don't know much about her, but I definitely love the way she looks for Nessa. She looks very innocent, and I hope she has that like crazy wicked arc, because Wicked Witch of the East, oh, it's so good. I like need it on the cast recording, so hopefully we'll get it on the movie.
You know, we don't have it on the cast recording, but I do have a friend who recorded it for us. Let's take a look.
Save him, please, just save him. My Prabhat, my sweet, my brave him. Don't leave me till my sorry life has ceased. Alone and loveless here, with just the girl in the mirror, just her knee. The wicked witch of the East. We deserve each other.
Literal goosebumps. Literal.
Magical. It's like when all of the pieces are coming together in the audience, you can literally feel the audience be like, okay, I know where we're going.
It is one of those moments. I never could understand why they left that off the original cast recording. It's so frustrating.
It's a huge spoiler.
I guess.
Because
That
you
part. Yeah.
you get too much of what they want you not to know, and that like that's literally the reason they didn't do it, was they didn't want to spoil that Bach become, who Bach becomes, didn't want to spoil the shoes. Personally, I really hope they cut that horribly ableist making Nessero stand. Like, I really hope they do something different than that, because that's the one part I really don't like, because it's so inherently ableist, and I feel I really hope John Chu does not go there, or they find another solution.
Well, doesn't that happen in the book though?
In the book, she doesn't have arms, so the shoes don't necessarily allow her to stand. They enable her to balance.
Right.
Versus in the show, where obviously it's a lot harder to cast an actress who doesn't have arms. So they do the wheelchair thing, and I really hope that they don't go there with that. I think it's incredibly ableist, and I think it's a slight to, and this is me, obviously I'm not part of the disabled community, but from what I've heard from people in that community, it's a big sore spot for them as well.
Interesting. Oh, that's really, thank you for bringing that up and sharing that. It will be very interesting to see, because I feel like they are being very intentional, not only with the diversity in casting, which is something we all can celebrate to see. I mean, because moving on here, Fierro, Jonathan Bailey is an out actor. We have another out actor, Bowen Yang, as Fanny. He is going to play one of Glinda's besties. We've got Bowen Yang as Fanny, and then the other one is, where did I not load all my pictures? That's my problem. The other one is, I don't have the picture yet, but I'll grab that. Why don't we talk about, Tori, take away Bowen Yang. I mean, he's hilarious.
He is hilarious. And I mean, I haven't heard the arguments about Nesseros amongst the disabled community yet. I'm glad you brought that to the forefront, Garrett. But part of Nesseros's arc, spoiler alert, guys, part of Nesseros's arc is that she casts herself as somebody who is incapable, which is not true. And she uses Bach. So part of her arc is coming to accept that she was never incapable, and that she used him as kind of like a makeshift slave. So part of Nesseros's issue is that everybody's always coddling her and not allowing her to take care of herself. But we all know she's always been capable. And that internal struggle is what ultimately pushes her over the edge. So I don't know how you could change that without fundamentally changing how Act 2 goes. But it'll be interesting to see.
It will be interesting to see. I think we're all going to be pleasantly surprised and impressed by all the changes in this adaptation to 2 films. We already know that there are new characters, but Bowen Yang, who is one of the funniest men alive today from SNL and other movies and things already. He was great in Fire Island this year. He's really breaking out and Emmy winning and just so great. I love him as casting for Fanny. Shen, we have Bronwyn James. So those are Glinda's 2 besties. I'm not as familiar with her work, but I feel like, again, really, really terrific and casting choices here. Something that I don't know, and I wanted to ask Garrett about, is the character Miss Coddle with Keala Settle, who is the bearded lady in The Greatest Showman. She's also a Broadway star. I got to meet her. She was Shoshana Bean's +1 at the Critics' Choice Awards, and I was seated at the table with them the year that Greatest Showman was nominated, because I requested to sit with Pasek and Paul and got to sit with those songwriters. Greatest Showman's my favorite movie, just behind The Wizard of Oz. So that was one night to remember. But now to see that Keala's gone into the show. But who is Miss Coddle?
I don't remember the character from the book. So I'm guessing this is probably a new character. I'm sure she's going to get a song. Like that's that's one of those things that's like, why? I mean, I know cast Patti LuPone in Working, and she's the only character who doesn't sing in Working. But
like when Adina did not sing in the first Enchanted film,
right? So I mean, it does occasionally happen. I like her a lot. Like I'm very excited to see what this character is going to be. My guess is, if I were guessing, and obviously I have no known for sure here, is in the book, there's that whole period where she goes to the convent after what's essentially where defying gravity would hit in the book. She essentially goes to a convent. I'm wondering if it's going to be that, or if maybe Mrs. Caudle is going to fill in for the nanny figure that's in the book, because there's that nanny that she has as a kid that goes with them to Shiz and then ends up with her in the Vinkus.
I was hoping that Yackle would show up somewhere in the show.
Mother Yackle may still show up. I mean, we're still early days. I noticed Dr. Dillamond is not
Okay.
been cast yet. That's the big. Oh,
what if they gender swapped and Miss Coddle is Dr. Dillamond?
That's entirely possible too.
Somebody suggested that on TikTok, and I was like, wait, because I actively went back to the book to find this character and could not find it. Maybe I'm wrong. Does this character exist? I've never heard of this.
I would say it has been a while since I read the book, so it could be in there, and I just don't remember.
I was going to send a message to Gregory Maguire and be like, "What can you tell me?" Because I don't know. I don't think he's involved at all in the adaptation, in the screenplay. I know that they just are using his source material, so I don't know if he even knows what's happening yet. I'm sure he'll find out at some point before the rest of us, and God bless, he should. But it just would be interesting to kind of, and maybe he can't even say anything. He might be like, "My lips are sealed," which is great too, because I love the anticipation, and it will be fun to kind of just get the reveal, kind of not know ahead of time, to kind of consume it when it's finally released and get to be surprised by all of it. But if they gender swap Dr. Dillamond, couldn't she still be called Dr. Dillamond?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or in theory.
Yeah.
Which does make me also wonder are they holding someone for Dr. Dillamond that they want to be sort of the surprise?
Like Madonna. Just kidding.
God, no. Oh, God, no. I mean, if you want, if we're going to get a goat person, Sarah Jessica Parker's available. But
wow.
Garrett.
Yeah, I know. It's
hilarious.
But no, because I really expected we would see one more big theater name show up in the film somewhere. Which is actually, I'm real surprised that they didn't cast a theater name for Morrible. I really thought that's what was going to happen. So it could be, and I know there's always been rumor and innuendo and out-uendo about Kristen and Adina. I could see them plopping one of them in as Dillamond just to sort of be like I'd be afraid that it might steal the thunder, but I could see them doing something like that.
There's no way Adina would do it. I could see Kristen doing it. I could not see Adina doing it.
I need Kristen to be, look, it's Glinda! And I need Idina to be the midwife. I need her to deliver the green baby.
Those are brilliant.
Because then you get both of their cameos right in the opening.
Yeah,
I agree. I think that's a really good idea. I think we'll see them in very small cameos.
Right.
Maybe in one short day they'll pop up or something.
Oh my God, it's like little besties like.
Yeah.
What if they are in the Hammerhead costumes and then like take off their heads and go, ooh.
Yeah, or they're granny witches kind of like hobbling down I don't know. Anyway.
Oh my God.
It would be funny. But moving on here, we have Aaron Teo as Averick, who was a friend to Glinda in the novel. He, of course, is more kind of like he helps out Fiyero in the show. And so I think that's another great choice. I don't know much about him, but he looks like a cool guy.
In the show, he's the one who like rides the bike with Fiyero.
Yeah. I was like, what's the footman kind of to Fiyero?
Yeah. They do that weird like.
Exactly. And then another. Oops, Tori, we got to get Tori back. She's having a moment with her camera, but that's okay. We'll move on because the only other casting that we have here is Colin Carmichael as Professor Nicodick. Now, Nicodick is a name that we're familiar with from the Marvelous Land of Oz. And apparently he is going to be the professor who takes place after Dillamond is removed from the classroom. Tori's back.
He's the one, at least in the stage version, he's the one who brings the lion cub in.
Yeah, I never knew that they called him Nicodick.
Yeah, and it's alluded. He's obviously the allusion there is to the magician that's in land, and I think isn't Nicodick the one in Patchwork Girl that sets all of that story into motion?
Mm-hmm. And if Adina, we have Nathaniel saying if Adina and Kristen would do a cameo in this movie, it would blow my mind. We all agree.
They have to.
They have to. I do think, yeah, I think you're right there. Nicky Dick is the one who, he sells Mombi, and I think she steals from him a little bit, and Marvelous, and he does the other. So it's cool. It's cool to see some more bomb verbiage in this. Any Easter eggs to bomb and anything back again to the McGuire source material, those will be such great moments. And then also just whatever surprises. We know there are new songs in the second film, and there are reprises or elements of them in the first film. That'll be interesting to see too. So very, very cool. I mean, let's move forward. I mean, anyone that's watching, if you've got questions or comments about the Wicked casting ideas, let us know what you're thinking there, because we're sure that that's going to pop up more. There may even be some great merchandise.
Sorry, guys, I'm having technical difficulties, but what would an Oz Talk be without them?
Exactly, right? Oh, here, this is a really good one. Tyler Knox said, I just hope Dorothy makes an appearance in the Wicked movie. That would be really cool. At the end of Act 2, we know that there's the screen. We see the shadow of Dorothy. So how cool would it be if they expand on that in some way? They may or may not. But here, look at what some Wicked merch could possibly look like. How fun is it? I mean, we saw the Barbie dolls that came out, but I hope the movie merchandise is like gangbusters. Tori, what do you think of?
I'm really hoping that we see a ton of Wicked merch. I know for sure that I will be investing a great deal of coin in it. And I really hope that they go for it. Don't hold back on the merchandise. Let's have everything, please. And thank you.
I agree. Garrett, I first of all want to ask you to hold up your mug.
Oh my. This is like an old Westland,
love it.
This may even be the 99-ish.
It's cool.
I was looking to see if it actually had the date on it. It doesn't. It's one of the older ones.
And you have your Wicked. I have that Wicked track jacket. I like it, but Tori and I decided to twin today. Tori, what is happening with your camera? I need to know.
No, I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm sorry.
We're wearing the same Oz Christmas sweater because it is December, so we're kind of doing our Oz Christmas theme. We're going to talk about some Christmas Oz merch in a moment. There we are, Tori. Let's twin.
Yes, love it.
Thank you. Donovan, we're going to get to some of your merch, but first, let me check out the comments here. We have, oh yes, Nathaniel was saying he would like to see some Wicked Funko Pop. They've got to do that. 100%. And Alan, of course, like the rest of us, there goes our paycheck, right? Amen. So let's explore Donovan a little bit. Donovan, we talked about your voice, but when did you get involved with cosplaying? And my question is, did you make these costumes yourself?
So I made the Elphaba costume. I call that my hardest arts and crafts project ever. It was a lot of hot glue and a prayer. There were a few mess ups that I had to correct because you don't really know how intricate that Act 2 dress is until you try to make it. There's just so many small details. In my costume, there's a lot of vintage Edwardian beaded appliques. So I made Elphaba, and then I had Glinda made for me because I knew I could not make her. And so a friend of mine helped with making her. And again, there's a steel bone corset, there's a hoop skirt, there's a crinoline skirt, and then the petal skirt goes over that, and then another corset. I mean, these costumes are intense. And I remember the first time I won the Wicked Lottery sitting front row. That was just the most magical thing for me. The costumes, I couldn't take my eyes off the shoes. I couldn't take my eyes off of just how expensive and detailed these amazing costumes were. And so actually seeing Wicked front row really made me think maybe I want to be a costume designer. Maybe I want to do drag. Maybe I want to dress up. So I always go back to those Wicked costumes and they just really inspired me to start the whole, dress up, drag, and just so magic. Those Emerald City costumes, I could not imagine doing that show and living in those costumes.
Right, and that was Susan Hilferty, I believe, for the Broadway show. And then we've got Paul Tazewell, who did the costumes for the Wiz Live. And if you remember the Emerald City and the voguing, I mean, I feel like what he's going to, I love that they're getting someone who's done Oz before to now do it with an even bigger budget. I think he's the right choice. So I'm very excited. I can't wait for, that's why I was so excited to just see Cynthia's nails. I was like, can we get some design concept? I can't wait to see the shade of green and the rest of it. Garrett,
do you think they're going to like try to stick to like the OG design, or do you think they're just going to go completely like different?
I think
I'm sure there'll be nods.
Like the Shiz uniforms, you know, that's probably going to be.
I'm sure there'll be nods to it. Like, you know, in the Rent film, they were very careful to pick the sort of iconic. You got to see Mimi in the blue pants. You got the red Santa jacket for Angel, but still found its own. So I expect we'll probably get nods, but I wouldn't expect we're going to see direct translations.
Right.
I think the biggest thing I'm going to be really curious about is, are they going to go for Glinda and put her in more pinks?
Well, that's
or
what I
are
was
they going to try to avoid Warner Brothers getting litigious
Well,
and go away from pinks.
The Broadway out-of-town tryout in San Francisco, Glinda was in blue for Popular. They changed her dress to pink for Popular for the Broadway debut. And I feel like you need Glinda in pink, especially pink goes good with green, is right in there. And so if she's not pink and Popular, that will throw me. I expect that. Maybe they'll keep her in pink or peach at the end in the bubble. Maybe that will change, but we'll see. I guess that's the same as the beginning. No one mourns the wicked. So we'll see what they do there. But the crown and the wand will be interesting. I think the same will be interesting for the wand design, the grimoire design, the hat design. That was such a departure for the this hat is so smart, you know, the pointed hat, but with such a short brim, which we needed for the lighting on a Broadway stage. They can go much wider in film like they did for Oz the Great and Powerful, The Wizard of Oz, and such. So it'll be very interesting to see. I can't wait to see what the hat looks like. Do you agree, Donovan?
Yeah. I love Glinda's bubble dress in the show. Like, I love the idea of it being like the sky, you know, she is of the clouds. But I know personally when I wanted to do Glinda myself, I wanted the bubble dress from the show, but I wanted to do the pink nod to the OG film. And a lot of people really enjoyed that on TikTok. They were like, oh my God, it's the bubble dress, but it's pink. So it'll be really fun to see what they do with the costumes for sure.
Garrett, do you have a question for Donovan?
Actually, I was going to ask about the pink, the switch to the pink, because I noticed that, but that question got you just beat me.
Yeah,
in there.
It was like a whole Sleeping Beauty thing. I was like, blue or pink. Blue
well, and that
pink.
actually has sort of become somewhat of a trend with the Aurora dresses. So I'll be curious to see if they bring anything like that into Wicked as well, where depending on how the light hits and how she moves, it's either the blue or the pink. And I think that could be, I mean, Tazewell does like to work with fabric a lot. So obviously he's costume designer. That was a dumb statement, but he likes to work with textures and things a lot. So I think it'll be interesting to see. And like Alan pointed out, Uzo's dress in the Wiz Live is just, that's my favorite costume in that entire thing.
Yeah, I mean, lights. It has fiber optics, and it was amazing.
And then she comes in looking like a big perfume bottle, and it's just.
In my opinion, that was the best live production that we've seen. Like, it was just so solid. The cast, the costumes, everything was just like.
Well, and it was the thing that got me with the Wiz Live is it seems like every version or every production of The Wiz or every Wizard of Oz, sort of a different one of the friends is the standout, but it's rarely the Tin Man. But I really thought Neo was the standout of the three as the Tin Man. Because, you know, in the 78 film, Michael Jackson's the standout of the three. And on stage, it sounds like Ted Ross was clearly the standout. And so then in The Wiz Live, it got to be him.
It's so true. I loved Neo the most. And Shanice Williams, my goodness, what a debut. She's one to watch. Her career. Let's, Donovan, before we move on and talk about more, we want to look at your collection. Tell us about this dress.
So actually, My Defying Gravity dress was like the easiest of my Oz costumes. It was literally just like an ASOS costume, a dress that I bought. And it's too short. It only goes to my knees, and in the show, hers goes to like her shins. But my hat was made by somebody who worked on the production. I forget his name specifically, but his Etsy is Wigs of Whimsy. Oh, here it is. It's pretty close. It's pretty accurate to what is in the show.
Ooh, you know, Tori and I are all writing this information down right now.
Yeah.
Like you said, the short brim. And I think there's wire in here. You can kind of like adjust it however you like.
Cool.
It's funny. It looks so small in my hands, and then when it's on my head, it looks like very tall.
Our friend Zoe needs one of those badly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was one thing I knew I had to have. I was like, I don't care how much I have to pay for this hat. I'm getting it. But even then, there's so many different variations of her hat.
Mm-hmm.
Like every actress who wears the hat, I'm like, that's angled differently. That's got a different pattern. It looks different. Like, you know, that it's fun to see how different the costumes evolve to. Like Elphaba's Act 2 dress. There's one that has like, it's more in the London productions. They have like a spider web on the bodice. And I'm like, it's so fierce. But they only have those in the London production. So it's interesting how like the different dresses look over the whole world.
Definitely. Tori.
Sorry about the technical difficulties, guys. My computer died, but we've got the backup cell phone, so we never give up here. So I'm sorry I missed the run up to this conversation, but you're right. The Elphaba hat, it's the hardest thing to recreate because the regular witch hat looks nothing like Elphaba's swoopy designed hat. And I really am excited. I hope people aren't too married to the Broadway costumes. I hope they go their own direction for the film. You did a beautiful job recreating Elphaba's costume, which the Act 2 dress is so complicated. It's yards and yards and yards of very heavy fabric, and you made it look so much like it. So well done.
Thank you.
Yes, very good. And yeah,
I
think they'll go with the wider thing. Donovan, we do want to get to your, you're going to show us.
Yeah, like I made this out of like pieces of like towel. Wow. This is all pieces of like towel that I just chopped up and kind of like put together. There's one of those like antique bead. Where'd it go? This is like an antique bead thing here. And then there's so many. I don't even know. I forget how many fabrics they use on her actual costume, but there's just so many layers of different color. And that's the thing, from far away, it looks all black. It's fully every color of the rainbow in the dress.
It's so cool. All right, Tori, you want to set this next thing up?
Which thing are we setting up now?
Oh, you've got a clip to share?
Yes. So, as some of you may know, I am also a presence on TikTok, and a while back, I did duet one of our guests' videos, and I'd love to share it with you guys.
I click my heels, then what? It better be more complicated than that, or I'm gonna go ballistic!
Oh, it's much more complicated than that. You have to click your heels and say, there's no place like home. There's no place like home. And you'd have been home in 2 seconds.
I could have been home 2 seconds after I got here!
Oh, there are many other ways you could have gotten home.
Oh,
you could have clapped your hands. You could have winked or brushed your eyelash. You could have sneezed or turned your head quickly. Any of those ways and you would have been home.
Oh, you psycho glitter!
I want more of that. Wait, Donovan, you're muted.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Now we can.
Oh, that skit kills me dead. Every time I have tears in my eyes when I brushed your eyelash, I'm like, I love that you duetted that. That made me so happy. I was like, ah!
That day, I was just like, first of all, that can come across as so mean, that skit. So I was like, we got to add some humor here. And it was so fun. And it got such a positive response. So thank you for making that. It was so fun to duet it. I love being able to collaborate like that on TikTok. It's one of my favorite things about being on TikTok.
Right. The duet feature is so fun.
Yes. Speaking of the duet feature, we've got another one to share that's pretty rock solid.
But then I guess we know there's blame to share, and none of it seems to matter anymore. Like as it passes by a window, like a seed dropped by a burning road. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? I do believe I have been changed for the better. And because I knew you, because I knew you, because I knew you, I
It's kind of rude that it just stops there, right? Oh boy, Tori, and Don. Okay, yeah. Were you guys muting yourselves, or does it mute automatically?
Mutes automatically.
Yeah, automatically. When you
on
play
the phone, it mutes you automatically.
Interesting. Well, I have a couple other clips, but Donovan, can you take us through a bit of your collection? We just want to see some of. I mean, Tori and Garrett and I have shared over
Absolutely.
the years doing the show. We'd like to kind of see some of what you have.
Yeah. Now, is there a way for me to like flip around my camera?
There should be. Usually has one of those things. I know Jane Albright, president of the Oz Club, who has asked that as well, and has done that before when we've had her on. Good morning, Jane. If you're watching, we love you. You are our leader. Take us to your leader, Jane Albright.
So I have some lovely, like, this is my like little Oz shrine. I love this. This image is so cute with Glinda here, like the witch. I love that. This is a cool. My mom got me this. These are like actual like film things from the film. Let's take a little trip down here. I got a whole setup for you. This is all of my Oz stuff. My mom
Donovan, as you're telling us this now, you really became an Oz fan through Wicked, correct?
Well, firstly, I was obsessed with the Wizard of Oz film. When I was growing up, I was obsessed with the witches. And then, you know, they made this little musical. I remember as a little kid, I was watching the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, and then One Short Day came on. And I was like, oh my God, they made a musical about the Witches of Oz. And then the obsession just...
Right, so then you read the book, and then you just became an even bigger Oz fan. I love that. I love all the different ways that people can get into the fandom and the community.
Yeah, it's wild. So I have a lot of the Jim Shore stuff.
Mm-hmm. Was there anything Tori or Garrett that caught your eye on that table that you wanted to take a closer look at? I mean, there's so much to see. I feel like, do you want to take us back there, maybe do a closer pan real quick?
Yeah, I can do a slow sweep for you.
Yeah, that'd be great. We'd love to take a look at that.
I love looking at other people's collections and get so jazzed.
Yeah, I want to know. And then Garrett and Tori, let's each pick out something we wish we had in our collection that he has.
Oh my God, some of these like light up like crazy.
Beautiful.
This is a cool little teapot. Scarecrow. This globe is everything.
Ooh. I wouldn't mind having that Wicked Witch wall hanger.
Right? Isn't she amazing?
Happy belated birthday, Margaret Hamilton. Her birthday was yesterday.
Yes, it was. This is like an interesting doll thing that like flips.
I've always
and then
loved
the
those flip
Scarecrow is
dolls.
underneath there.
Those flip dolls are always so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's super fun. I remember.
I love the Dorothy and Toto there sitting on the fence. Is that a bank or a figurine?
Right here?
Yeah.
This is a Jim Shore figurine.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, she's super cute.
So cute. Thank you so much. That's wonderful. We love it.
Of course.
Love stuff.
I actually love having it all together.
It is nice.
Like Tori, like that whole setup is amazing.
Well, my husband certainly wishes the entire collection was all in one spot. Unfortunately, we are a bit scattered around the house, but this is where the bulk of it lives.
Garrett, do you have it all over too, or is it just in one spot?
It's kind of all over. There's some in the bedroom. There's some in the guest bedroom. There's some in my craft room. The books are all in the library area, and my book-based Jim Shore figures are in there too.
I love the Jim Shore.
And then, actually, there's not any of it at work. But that's because I've had like seasonal stuff because I have enough space at my desk that I can like do a whole seasonal spread. So once we get out of the holidays, it'll show back up over there. But
yes.
Yeah, it's kind of spread throughout. And there's even like at my mom's house, there's still some stuff that's there that she was like, well, I really like this stuff, so this is gonna stay here with me.
I got stuff at my mom's house too. I'm like, Mom, I don't have room for it all.
Speaking of the holidays, if you're ready to transition into merch,
please.
So I'm sure a lot of you guys have been keeping your eyes peeled for the new Hallmark ornaments this year. And we got a Glinda this year. And she is a light up Glinda. She looks great on the tree. So I was a little skeptical about this one, and be prepared to have glitter hands for the rest of the day, but she's beautiful. And then a few months earlier, we got the Sepia Dorothy turning into color here. The only disappointing thing, as we discussed, I think, when we first saw this one, is that no Toto in this. And she should have Toto in her arms, but it's very cute. And again, this kind of backlit with the tree lights looks really, really cool.
Yeah, that's the one reason I didn't get it was because I really wanted there to be a little bit more Toto, you know?
There's never enough Toto.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, never, and I agree. I just found something I want to upload too, but Garrett, you had something you could share that's new too, right?
So this has been kind of making the rounds a little bit, and I know it's at Ollie's. I found mine at Half Price Books if you're in the areas that have Half Price Books. It is an edition of the book where you can diamond paint the cover, which I had never diamond painted before. It's very pretty. I am very happy that I tried this for my first diamond painting and not like a big thing because I did not enjoy the diamond painting. It's kind of interesting because it's like the cover where the diamonds go down is sticky. So I have noticed, in fact, I had some dog hair that I had to pull out of it. So it's kind of what it is, but it's a really fairly nice edition. It's got the full text, the original. It's the Dinslow illustrations. The color plates are all there in color. So for $10, I mean, at least that's what it was at Half Price Books. It was well worth the $10. It's the only I look to see, because I'm one of those weirdos. It's like, oh, are there more in this series? Maybe if it's not Oz, but still, I like a series. This seems to be the only thing that this company has done is quite literally just release this one thing. Like their website is super bare bones. But yeah, it was kind of fun. And it was a good, like, I did it in like an evening. Like I sat there and watched the movie and got it done in the time of the movie. So it was a fun little project, and I will never do another diamond painting again. It's pretty.
I had this, this is from 2013 because it has the date on it, but I love nutcrackers anyway around the holidays, and Wizard of Oz ones. I wish I could afford. Some of them are so expensive, but this is a cute one because it's kind of mini. It's got Dorothy and Toto on the yellow brick road with red slippers. So it has to be, it was $14.99. I don't remember where I got it, but it has to, I assume, be licensed with the ruby slippers. So that's my holiday thing to share. And Tori, you have another piece of new merch, right?
Yes. So as you guys know, the Loungefly bags have been a really big deal this year. We had the original one that was released last year that finally arrived. But now that we've had all these new designs, this kind of basic one feels a little disappointing when we have Toys and Fun coming out with something like this, where you have Dorothy and Toto in the crystal ball. You've got the witch looming over. You've got this really cute, I'll get you my pretty on the back with a flying monkey. Like, so when you compare what the new designs look like versus that first one, which if I had received that first, perhaps I would have been blown away. But since then, we've had so many cool and original designs that it's kind of hard to be excited about that one. I'm ashamed to say. But yeah, this one from Toys and Fun, this is a Loungefly exclusive from them, and it is my favorite so far.
I need that bag.
Yeah, that's pretty spectacular.
That one
I
is
really like the other black one that has them going toward the Emerald City and the poppy
Mhm.
field. But of course, my favorite one's the Toto one in the basket.
Yeah, the Cordy's Corner bag, which is that one, is actually a larger bag. So these are both mini backpacks. And so these are not as functional as a daily wear. So I actually use the Cordy's Corner bag as my full-time bag as well. These are more for having a day trip, just want something cute. But as a mom, backpacks are super great because your hands are free to snag the kitties from running into the street. But the first one that was released, and this was the 835 bag, it's so small. Like you'd never be able to actually use this on a daily basis if you're someone.
I actually do use a Loungefly mini backpack on a daily basis, but I also don't have kids. I just have me to worry about. So, but it I find for my wallet, my hand lotion, my hand sanitizer, my car keys, and my pills so that I can have dairy if I'm eating out somewhere. Like that's perfect for me.
Garrett,
no room for Cheerios. What about the
Garrett, are you using an Oz one or which lounge?
I am not. The 835 bag came out at a weird time and it sold out before I could get it. And while I love the newer ones, the 835 was more the style of what I carry. So I have a Winnie the Pooh one that's kind of, it's more subtle. Like I like the big in your face ones, but then I worry that it's like, but I don't want it to get messed up. So it doesn't, it would not be one I'd carry. So the 835 is the one I would have gone for had it not sold out before I was able to. And then it turns out that, I would have waited a year and a half. So kind of okay that I missed it.
No, I hear you. Oh God, it's really interesting to see. We should talk to Tiffany Sutton, our friend, and see if she knows of what's coming up because she works with Loungefly. Because I wonder if they're going to do some, wallets and more wallets and other things like that. But
well, there was a new wallet that just came out, and I do have it. It's upstairs, and it has the Emerald City on the front, and on the back it has Frank Morgan in his doorman costume with a "Who rang that bell?" and it's very cute.
Very, very cool.
So yeah, I think there's going to be a lot more from Loungefly. My only advice, if you're somebody who wants to have your stuff in a timely fashion, do not pre-order Loungefly. Wait until they're already in stock.
Good tip. Good tip. Well, excellent. You guys, this has been so much fun. Donovan Hoffer, thank you so much for joining us. Before we say goodbye, and I'm going to throw it over to Garrett to tell us all how to join the Oz Club today. But before we do that, just in the spirit of the holiday, I wanted to share something that Tori did for us last year, and it's going to become an annual tradition. It's one of my favorite Oz songs, and Tori does it in a beautiful way.
3 magic words that each kid knows. Christmas toys and Oz. In every heart the wonder grows. Christmas toys and Oz. For Christmas is a special time of love and laughs and toys. And Oz can happen any day, a timeless land of joys. But kids grow up and soon forget those words of long ago, till suddenly their own kids see sparkling eyes aglow. That Christmas still's a special time of love and laughs and toys. And Oz can happen any day, still timeless in its joys. When folks grow old and find it hard remembering what was, the child they were will not forget. Christmas toys and us. You'll always have a child inside with Christmas toys and
Beautiful.
I That is one of my favorites of all. Thank you so much, Tori. Of course, Tori, you should be following her on TikTok at the Oz Vlog. She is our new Oz star, and her content is so much throughout the day and so consistent and wonderful. And we have to thank Donovan. I'm so glad you're our new Oz Club. You got to join the Oz Club and come back on the show again. You've got so many more things to share. I hope you do some more Oz content, and we'll
Absolutely.
have you back. You are at Emerald_Elixir on Instagram and on TikTok, and you are just so cool and so fun. So thank you so much for joining us today. And now, Garrett, won't you take it away and let everybody know how they can join the Oz Club?
Ooh, I'm being trusted with it today. So you can definitely come join us at the Oz Club. It's ozclub.org. Membership levels start at 30. It gets you 3 issues of the Bomb Bugle a year, which is our scholarly magazine that several of us, including myself, have contributed to. It also gets you discount on things in our shop. It gives you access to the online community. And free admission to any of our virtual events. There's also a youth membership that's $15. So if you've got a kiddo in your life that you want to get into the Oz Club, you can get them the same basic features for $15. So it's a really great way to go. It is a nonprofit as well. So there are other levels you can donate at. So yeah, come join us. It's ozclub.org.